Hi, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. We are live streaming to YouTube, just so everyone knows. So keep it clean. We'll give it just another minute to let a few more people join. But tonight, y'all, this is just a casual technology chat through. This is not going to be nearly as formal as our other events. It's just us making sure we all know how to navigate the website so that you can make all the monies from the tickets.
Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for those who have your cameras on. I do appreciate it. Sometimes on these like live sessions, thank you. It can be, it's a kind of like putting out your energy into like the black hole of Zoom, no pressure. If I also know people, we reach a capacity at a certain point and just need a little off time. But if you're able, I do appreciate it.
My office is known as witness protection, but I'm not really in it. Everyone thinks that every time on Zoom.
Hello, everyone. Okay.
Oh,
that'll be a fun effect if it lasts. No, good. Okay. Was I the only one who could hear myself echoing?
No, I heard it.
Okay, good. I was like, is that where I'm at?
Yeah.
Because it's wild times in Fringe Land. I would not be surprised if I'm starting to hear things. Okay, awesome. Welcome everyone. Okay, so let's get today going because it's a Tuesday night and I'm sure we all want to get to bed early and start to prep for June. So what I'm going to do for like the next 20 minutes, I'm just going to share my screen and kind of talk you through the back end now that tickets are on sale and kind of let you know how the functionality of the site works. And then some tricks to hopefully save yourself a little time and energy later on throughout the process. And then we'll just open it up because I'm sure you have questions. I'm sure at this point you've at least kind of noodled around the site enough. And so I'll be here to answer questions in a visual way because I know sometimes a list on support is not always as helpful if we're not already tech savvy. So that'll be what today is all about. And then friends who watch it later on YouTube can hopefully get some good information too. So let's share my screen real quick. Okay. So hopefully you can see the Hollywood Fringe website. Thumbs up from everyone. Can we see it? Awesome. Okay. Hopefully you know this page by now. If not, welcome. Now's a great time to become more aware of it. Tickets are on sale. Yay. So let's start with our user account, right? So left-hand corner always, if you are signed in, I will note if like a big mistake that people make is just forgetting to log in. So sometimes if you're like, I can't find any of the things, my show is not there, none of my information is there, I don't see the admin tab, making sure you're logged in will solve a lot of that problem. So, and then you log in just on the, I'm actually gonna get rid of my Zoom screen here so I can kind of see everything. There we go. So right on the top right of your screen is where you will log in if you are in fact logged out. So I'm going to click on my little guy here. I'm using a test account. So you don't have to see my end of like the user admin because it'll be a lot more confusing that way. So this is my test account, Fringe TV. So from your user account, you'll have my projects, right? That'll be where your project will be. So for today, my project is digital networking. And we'll go back to that. But advertisements, this is another one that a lot of people have questions about. And that's if you've bought an ad, if you've purchased a digital ad, for example, one of the impressions on the site that you can see on the right hand here, that's where your advertisements are going to live. And that's where you can change them or add new impressions to them or pause them, things like that. Mine is not set up yet, so I don't see a pause button. I just added that today so that you could see what it looks like to have an existing ad on your account. But if you do have an existing ad and it's already set up and running, you can pause it if you want to hold off and getting rid of all of those impressions too quickly. But right here, you can always go back to my advertisements to update or change your digital ad in any fashion. Favorites, that'll come in handy when you start looking through other shows to see. So this is the audience member portion, whereas you're looking through shows, but you're maybe not ready to commit to buying tickets because you don't know your schedule. The little heart that shows up on every project, if you heart that ends up in your favorite box, and then you can go back to that and buy tickets all at once later. And same thing with purchase history. If you're ever like wondering, did I buy a ticket to that? I can't remember. Your purchase history is, it goes on for as long as your user account does. Our site hoards information, so it doesn't like restart every year. So if you come back, in 10 years and do another Fringe, you will still have all of the information from your first time as a Fringer on the account, which also helps your Google representation, right? Like, so there's more information about you and your work out in the world because it lives on the website. And same thing with my schedule. Anything that you book or your currently scheduled shows, if you are attached to a show, will show up in my schedule. Let's see what I'm on. And this is a new site feature this year, so we're very excited about it. So what you'll see on here is anything that the Hollywood Fringe Festival is throwing, so like our spring preview, that is on everyone's schedule. Just to remind you, so like our opening night party, things like that will all be on our full schedule. But then as you buy tickets to things, that'll show up in red for my tickets. As you favorite things, those will be in purple. And then anything that you were like directly involved in, those will be green. So that'll help you kind of navigate June in hopefully a little more of an organized fashion. And that is the basic here. This is also where, if you do want to change, I know we've gotten a couple questions through support about like updating your bio or your pictures. That all happens right in here too. You can change, you can put a new headshot in or add your reel, because here's the thing with Fringe is like casting directors will come to Fringe and maybe like, see your work and go, oh my gosh, they'd be perfect for something. And how do I find out more information? They can come to the website and kind of use it as like a backstage sort of platform as well. And then if you go to edit, this is where, no, but that's where you can change your information there. But in the about, you can change all of your user information. Okay, let's go to projects. So if I go to my projects, we're gonna go manage project. Now this is the admin tab. This, if you are the primary producer, this admin tab is your happy place. That's where you're gonna spend a lot of time this June. Everything else is gonna show you like what we see, right? This is the beginning of what we see. So let's just go, I guess, down the line. We'll start with details. This is hopefully, because the guide is in the process of printing, you've already really checked this section out. But remember, you can still add photos and videos. That all lives right here. You can also add your production team right at the bottom. So just go back. So details tab, scroll to the bottom, and then you can add people to your team, which is super helpful just to make sure people are getting their credit publicly if they're involved in your show. And then also that means they get an award ballot. So anyone on your production team will get a vote when it comes to the community awards. So make sure you are beefing up your project page, but truthfully, like it'll, we'll get an alert if there's 100 people added to a project. So don't do that, but add your people to that. And that's also how you make sure, like, if you want to get your bio or information about your cast and crew, have them update their user profile. That's where that information lives. Your tickets, we all know what this looks like by now. This is where your reviews will live, so you can see all of the wonderful things that people have said about your show once it officially goes up. So thank you to Rebecca and Nancy who reviewed the speed networking event. Appreciate you. It's a great example. So and certified review, that means that both Rebecca and Nancy purchased a ticket on the Fringe website. So as the site recognizes that they saw the show, they're a real audience member. Anyone can give you a review, but if they have not purchased a ticket, then it will not show up as certified. And that's also where you'll be able to find press as well. Shockingly, no press has been to any of our speed networking events. The next tab is going to be your press release. This is going to be where you add your press release. I will note for formatting, it really helps like do a clear, I don't know if you're familiar with there's like the screen, I met someone real quick. Clearing formatting, there's a lot of like formatting, clear programs out there that you can kind of clear your formatting and then reformat it here in this space. So if I go to add press release, you'll do like a copy paste situation, but make sure you reformat it or have cleared the formatting prior and then butts with it once you're in the site. It unfortunately won't hold formatting in that same way. And then admin. Okay, this is the biggie, right? This is the important part and why we're all here. So in reports, you're going to have a really clear visual on how your show is doing. It updates with the amount of tickets sold in total, the total revenue, and then total number of performances for your show. And then you can see pretty graphs and start to get an idea of when tickets are purchased, like how the data side of things are going. You can also look and see who's seen your show. Is it press? Are they regular participants, or are they regular audience members, or are they participants seeing your show? So you can get a really good visual there. And then performances. This is where I think the majority of our questions come up. So we're going to go to, you can edit individual performances here. And hopefully this is all looking a little bit familiar. If you are, I will note, if you're streaming, some shows are streaming at the same time that they're doing an in-person audience. The venue does need to set up your streaming performance, but then you have control over like adding a link, like if it's a YouTube link or a Zoom link, things like that. The redirect timing is usually 0 minutes, works totally fine on that, just in general. And then of course, because it's digital, you can have a lot of tickets on sale. Online shut off. So this is going to be important as you start to deal with actually planning for your like box office and your will call. You decide when the show stops selling tickets online. It can be 1 hour. For us, it's 0 hours. It's totally up to you and how you want to handle that. But that cutoff is basically you deciding when audiences can no longer purchase tickets on the website. Totally up to you. And of course, we see our regular ticket price and participant ticket price. And then additional information. This is helpful. So like shut down sales. You're not going to want to do that very often, but if something does happen, if you have to cancel last minute or have to reschedule, anything like that, you do have the option to immediately shut down ticket sales. And then accessibility. So this is a fun one. So we want to make sure this is a new feature to the site, and it's all about our accessibility, because not every venue is fully accessible and not every show is even going to be fully accessible. But we want to make sure we're practicing full disclosure. That way, nobody's walking into a space and is unable to participate in the way they had planned. So that's the idea with accessibility flags. It's just about being honest so that nobody comes to a show that they cannot see it or they shouldn't see it because of sensory things that they didn't want to partake in that evening. Things like ASL interpreted performance, and that's per performance. So you can choose to only have one performance that is ASL interpreted versus the entire run of your show. Audio descriptions, same thing. Captioning, if you are doing a live stream, or even if you have captioning maybe on the screen behind you, things like that. Flashing lights, tactile, on a tactile tour. And that's going to be something if you want to kind of give a preview for someone that is going to make the experience more comfortable. For them, that is kind of what a tactile preview tour offers. It lets them kind of get a sense of the space and what to expect. Of course, there's primary sound. So that's going to be primary sound, primary visual. If you have a show that maybe has only 3 sentences of dialogue throughout the entire piece, that's going to be a primarily visual performance. And same thing if your performance doesn't really have a lot of visuals that fully impact the storyline. If you're going to be able to hear the show and understand fully what's going on, that's going to be a primarily sound performance. Priority early access seating. So that's something that is within your control. If you have the time to do so in your venue space, if you can allow priority seating, 5-10 minutes early, things like that, that is an option on the site. And of course, if you are doing any COVID precautions, if you're requiring vaccinations or things like that, that will be right here. And then more sensory advisories here as well. And then the key here, whenever you update this, you're going to want to make sure you hit update performance. If you're changing the flags, if you're doing anything on this setting, make sure you remember to hit update performance. We've all gone through and made a bunch of edits and then just walked away, forgetting to actually finish the process. So that's an important piece of the puzzle. You can also, if you go back to performances, let's go to view. And here is where you're going to give your comp tickets and view your will call and things like that. So edit, that'll take you right back to where we just were. That's editing the performance itself. For comped tickets, this is where you can add comps. So if you have friends that are coming to your show, if you're doing comp swaps with other shows, enter them in directly. That way you don't have to worry about how many seats you haven't sold or how many, you're not giving away tickets and then having to figure out, oh no, do I have enough actual seats for the butts that are going to be there tonight? So try to stay on top of adding in any comps that you're giving away. And then a will call report. This will, of course, be very helpful to the person who is running your box office when people get there. If you click on that, you will have your full list of the patrons who purchased tickets or were comped. However they got a ticket, this is where it'll be. And then any plus ones or any additional, if you have a +1, things like that, that will show up there as well. And okay. And then message patrons. This is a fun one. So this is how you have direct contact with anyone who's actually seeing your show. If you do, in fact, want to do if maybe you're doing an immersive show and having some sort of contact with your participating audience is important before they get there, like maybe it's a part of your show where like, welcome to the world that you're creating, and you want to kind of start that experience before they show up to the space, then that's an option for you. Or if you want to message them after thanking them for coming to your performance, things like that. That will also, if worst case scenario, you have to cancel a performance, this is a feature that comes in very handy. But if that does end up being the case, if something happens and you have to cancel something, know that Fringe will act alongside you to make sure the process is quickly handled and not as much stress on your shoulders. But if you click that button, you can message all the patrons. And you can also, if you want to message only certain patrons, you can do that as well. You have full control over how you interact with your audience. That is a feature, like you just got an email for this event. Reminder, this event is coming up. Here is a link. That is the feature we use. We'll go over to edit. This is going to be, of course, you can still make updates to your project page. Remember, they won't show up in print, but that doesn't mean you can't change information about your show right up until the bitter end if you want to. So title, category, all of these things. Fun note, if you want to make your page, if you want to add any bold or any sort of format choices, you can always use HTML. That does work on our site. So for example, with our dates, we used bold HTML code there. And that's a quick, easy, like Google, even I use HTML and never know it. I just have to Google it to remind myself what's what. Your long description. I will note too, if you have any content warnings in your show, no matter whether it's content related or physical space related, the description is a great place to explain what that means, so that you click the general content warning so people are aware of it, and then do a light explanation in the description to tell people what that is. And of course, all of this should look familiar. And then here's a few more accessibility flags. These are going to be project-wide. So the ones we were looking at in performance, those are going to be per performance. So know if you're making changes to your performances, sometimes that's going to mean going into every single performance and updating. I think especially with ticket prices, if you decide to change your ticket prices, there's no place to do that across the board. You have to go into every individual performance to make those updates. But for general, obviously, there's, free show, pay what you can, these flags here, and then accessibility. And this is where content warning lives. If you have a language that is multilingual, or if you have a show that is multilingual, that'll be here. Performance in Spanish, and those will be searchable. So any of those projects do come up as flags within the website. And then these, these might come up, but inactive, if you decide, you don't want an online presence from Fringe at any time, you can mark your project as inactive and it will go away from the Fringe website. And this is also where you decide if you don't want to do press reviews or you don't want to accept any audience reviews at all. These are the checkboxes you click so that option will not be available to people viewing your project. Your feed is just going to go through kind of everything that's happened with your project. That's just like a Facebook feed, right? That's going to be the same thing here. Discount codes. This is where you create discount codes to give to your friends and family or fellow participants, things like that. You give it a name, you give it a ticket price, or you can make it a pay what you can code. And then on this, you just select which performances that code is applicable. So it can be select all or just one. Maybe you just have, maybe it's just your preview performance or things like that. But you can add, we've never seen this max out. So you can add as many discount codes as you want, and they will be just fine. It's always nice to make people feel special, right? So to create a code that's specific for different groups of friends or different work colleagues, things like that. And then this gets a little bit confused with price levels. So let's talk that through. So that's discount codes. That means you're offering a code to someone to get a special price when they go to buy a ticket for your show. Price levels are public. So discount codes are private and will only be known to the people who have been given the code. Whereas price levels, that is a public ticket level. So that will appear on your project to anyone who is coming to your project page. So that is most likely used for things like a VIP section, or maybe your ticket, there's a regular ticket price. And then there's, some people, if you pay a little extra, you also get a drink or you get a bag of snacks or things like that. So that's going to be where you use create a level. Or maybe it's, I've seen a lot, especially post-COVID, you see that, like if you can afford to give this amount, this is how much the show costs. And if you cannot afford it, here's a level for those, who may be having harder times. Guide proof, we're a little bit past that, but of course, hopefully you know where that is, because we've spent a lot of time there in the last 2 weeks. And then your patrons list. This is your gold. This is going to exist for you after Fringe. It's of course here as people are adding themselves. So basically what happens is the Fringe, when someone buys a ticket to your show, the Fringe will ask them, do we have permission to share your contact information with the show? 9 times out of 10, they say yes. And when that happens, that goes into kind of your file. So now you have access to their contact information. It's all email. There's no phone numbers or anything like that. But that way you've a built audience. You're building audience from Fringe that you're going to be able to take on to the next project. And then when you download the CSV here, that's when the email pops up. So it's not visible here, but downloading that form will give you every email from everyone who's seen your show and has shared their information with you. Mm. So that's the basics. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Actually, no, let's show press. Let's do that. So something I did prior to joining on this call, I assumed a press user and kind of sent a press request so that we could see what that looks like for the user. So with press and industry, it will work the same way. Eventually, we're going to have that set up and information on industry in a couple weeks. But with press and industry, they have the ability to request a comp. You do not have to provide that comp. It is entirely in your control as the artist and as the producer to give comps or not to give comps, but they do have the opportunity to request it. So for this project, I went ahead and assumed a press user. It was Carly's test account. So thank you, Carly. And see if I switch over to my email, you can still see this, right? So this is the email. I'm in the Fringe TV email. So I got this email after press requested a comp. Good news, press is interested in seeing your show here. And all you have to do is it'll link to that user account so that you can view who the hell this person is that wants to see your show and find out if it's worth it for you. And then if you click here, that will automatically take you into creating a comp. So then all you have to do is add comps. So all of that information auto generates from that requested comp into your profile. So keep an eye on your emails. That's going to be key during June, is to make sure you're staying on top of your emails. That way you don't miss any press requests, because we will not grant them access without you going through this process.
How did you get to this menu from that press page? Sorry.
Oh, it was from the email. So if I went to, it was.
Just from the email. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So it's all automatic. You'll get an email every time somebody requests. And so that'll work. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. Like I said, with industry and with press, you will get a similar email that says, hey, this person with either the industry program or the press program is interested in seeing your show on this night. To, grant them those tickets, click here, and then you have a chance to do that. And that'll also, they have a chance to leave you a message if they want to tell you more. And specifically, we'll go through this more when we release the industry program, like pamphlet for artists. But with industry, this is also where it will say either they're an award judge or they are just a general industry who might be a good person to know. But you'll know the difference when you get that email, whether or not they have award power or are just, a good member of the industry to maybe get to know if you have some open seats.
Lois, does that come into our regular email, or does that come, we have to go to the site and there's an email?
It'll go to your regular email, whatever email. Okay. So that this is a good time to check what email you have associated with your account. Let's see, I'm actually pull that up and I'll show you.
And how do we get to the admin page?
Yeah, here, let me.
Is that through projects?
If you go to,
I mean, if you're going in there again, could you possibly do comps again? Because I really couldn't follow it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's why we're here. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, so this is your user account. So what I did, if you are logged in, on the left bottom of your screen, you're going to likely see your name. And if you haven't uploaded a photo, you'll see our blue freak standing in for all those without a photo. And if you click on the image, just click on the little picture there. This is going to be your user account. From there, you can go, well, let's go to edit first. So if you do want to check what your email is, go to edit. And you'll be able to see which email is attached to your account. Okay. And then we'll go to shows. And click our show. And so once you click on,
got it.
Admin, yeah, but a key, and this is because this is a mistake I make when I'm not paying attention and I'm trying to quickly do something on the site. I'm like, where's my admin tab? Where's my admin tab? It's because I'm not logged in. More often than not, it's because I'm not.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, and then you click admin. And then so for comps, yeah, like this, no, it's a note for the future. What a handy tab that would be to have up on your page. Know that it's on my list. But you'll go into your performances. Click on view. Let's do one that's coming up. Go to comp tickets.
Ooh.
And then we're going to add me. And you get to choose how many tickets. And this is also if you want to keep track. So we mentioned, like, we're going to have registered press that work with us, that they sign up through us, and then we get them set up on the site, and they have direct contact with you in this way. Maybe you reached out to a press outlet that we don't have any sort of connection with, so they're not certified on the site, and you want to make sure they get a comp that you've chatted through via email. This is also where you would add them, and then you can click press or for industry as a just nice reminder for later when you're getting ready to perform to, oh yeah, I have somebody that's coming from press, so that you're not surprised by that when you see them while on stage. So you just add comps, and then now it'll show up. And this is also where you can delete comps. It's also a nice, I think it was Bonnie He so brilliantly mentioned during the marketing and ticketing panel that she checks in, especially if she's starting to have a full house. Check in with your comps, make sure they're still coming, because what a bummer if you have people who can't get into your show, and then it is because people who you gave a ticket to are no longer able to make it. So no, you can always delete those as well. And then as you can see, because Carly, my test account for Carly was labeled press, it'll show up like that when you go back to look at it later. It'll also show up on your will call list, so your box office person will know. When Carly gets to the box office and they see her name, they're going to know that she's press, just because that way they can be handed a packet or things like that. Maybe you brought some press materials, a press kit, things like that. That'll all be there for you. And then you can always go back to view all performances, and it'll all be right there.
So you really, for comps, you have to go into the individual performances. That's the only way to do it.
That is, yeah, because it is performance reliant, whereas like discount codes and things like that are not necessarily, they might be more general. But yeah, the way it's set up, you do have to go to each individual performance.
In the sense of trading for shows, the only way to really do it if you're doing comps is just to do what you just did. There's no little magic button for two fringe people to hit.
No, unfortunately. But what you can do, here's a fun trick. So our site, like inner messaging, is something that is fully functional within the website. So maybe you met, Rebecca, maybe we met at office hours and we never exchanged contact information. And we talked about giving comps, but now like, oh shoot, I don't have her email. How am I going to reach out to make sure that she has a comp to my show? You can search right here. And then when you, let's see. Search for somebody. So like, okay, you search for them right here. There's a Carly Barnhill.
Oh, and then how do you email her?
Yeah, where is that function?
It's the envelope at the bottom. That's the only way I know how to do it.
That is a way to do it too. So there's another way. Ben, full disclosure, Ben, our brilliant, our past festival director, he held the position before Ellen and I did. He has been doing some major updates on the site today. I don't know if anyone noticed, for about 4 minutes, the site crashed. Yeah, maybe a little longer than that. One of our servers went down. So there's been some, like, he's been quickly updating all of the little things. But yes, of course, you can go here. Oh, fun. That's going to be one of the things. Yep, that's...
Well, I've seen that work.
It does work. Yes, thank you. Proof. But if you go to the user, yeah, you're going to, horrible time for an example, but when you go to the user account, there will be, it says send a message. It's a little button. So you can send a message to anyone who is currently a user on the website. Any other questions or things that you're looking for maybe an easier way to do and whether the site accommodates that?
Yeah, I have a question. Is who are, I'm sure it's more than one, the amazing, brilliant people who came up with this system? It's really amazing.
Yeah, no, that's Ben Hill. So Benjamin Hill, the former festival director and co-founder of the festival, who held the role of festival director up until 2021 when Ellen and I took over. He actually comes from a tech and development background. He worked at Live Nation for a number of years, and he literally codes for a living and then happens to for the performing arts as well. So he built the entire website for Fringe. He knew what he wanted to do and what would help artists on like the back end of producing. And so he built the website entirely for Fringe, and with the idea that it would fit our specific model.
It's really amazing.
No, he's very, very brilliant. And even when a server goes down, Ben, if you're listening, within minutes he was on it and fixing the problem. And he has a full-time job. Like he retired from Fringe and full-time job, living a different life, and is still there when we need a little development help. Any other questions, y'all?
I have a question.
Yeah.
You were saying that only certified ticket buyers can leave a review. If you comp someone, are they considered a certified buyer?
Yes, that is a great question. Yes, if there is, basically, as long as there is proof that the person exists and had a ticket to your show, then they are a certified review, or like a certified review. Yes, and that's because that's important when a lot of participants are going to be switching comps during previews to make sure you're getting some of that word of mouth and some of those reviews. So they will be certified reviews as long as they had a ticket to your show in some fashion.
Could you go over again, because I didn't get the 2 ways to send a message? I got typing in their name, and then one's clicking on the envelope and the other is what?
Yeah, those are the 2 ways. And of course, neither are working for me right now. But it's basically, if you go to, maybe if I do it manually, let me try this really quick before I share my screen, /inbox.
Carol Francis, God love you. Here you are on a Zoom meeting, learning. You're amazing.
Okay, let's see if this will work.
What? Who is that?
That's Rebecca, your pal.
Oh, that's Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca.
I think it's amazing.
Okay, let me see here. Definition. Yep, it's just not going to pop up. So that's a fun site bug. That'll be fixed by tomorrow. But normally, yeah. So whenever, basically, if you search anyone's name and you find their user account, when you click on that user, it'll have a little button that says send message, and that'll be how you directly send a message through email.
I have a big question.
Yeah.
But it probably only pertains to me. You know, with the Hudson, when you sign the contract, you have to have tickets. Well, Leslie's at the Hudson.
Yeah.
You have to sign a contract, and you obviously, and then you have to set up on stage 411. So I'm hoping, you know, to sell out a couple of my shows, but then I want to be able to put on this site, go to on stage 411 for tickets, because there'll be tickets there. Is there any way to do that?
So it would be through the short description would be my or like your long description, because there's no way to like auto link. You can use external website. So on that project page, it gives you an external website. You can pop it there, but I think mentioning it in your short description, that's going to be what's important to get people over there.
Okay.
And then, you know, because specifically if you have like, because anyone can do 50% of tickets elsewhere if they want. And some venues do have a site that they require you use for those 50%. But do you know how to change the capacity on the Fringe website and all of that to make sure you're not overselling?
Yeah, I've already set up, you know, my theater's small. So I've set up 30 tickets with Fringe, and then 10 with the Hudson. And there are 3 other tickets, but I want to have those 3 tickets in case I get somebody to film, or, you know, I mean, I what if I do actually get a press person? I don't want them not to be able to have a ticket. So
absolutely. And that's always, remember, that's not a bad idea. And then it's super easy day of, because remember the Fringe buzz, like there's it's not like normal times where you're trying to get someone out to Hollywood to see a show an hour before. There's not, you know, there's already going to be such a crowd of people in Hollywood seeing other shows that, you know, you pop over to Fringe Central an hour before your show to get rid of those last 3 tickets if you know, you don't have them there that day.
okay, good idea. I like that. Boy, we're going to be really busy.
Yes. And but that's part of the fun, right? There's nothing I love more than seeing, you know, people come over to Fringe Central. So know those discount codes too. You can make them at any time. If, you know, it's Friday, your show's at 8:00 and okay, it's 6:00 and I still have 3 open seats, I'm going to create a discount code and head over to Fringe Central or the Plunge or 3 Clubs or these spaces where, you know, fringers hang out. It's a great chance to like hold off on discount codes until it's like, okay, it's go time. Let's just get butts, even at a discount.
Okay, now this is probably not, I suspect this will be a no. Is there a way of actually emailing every Fringe person and say, I've got 10 tickets, anybody want to come?
I mean, you could go through the long list through the website, but there's not like a reply all option. No, unfortunately.
Okay.
But I mean, hey, start it. I love seeing, like, know that like we get so much excitement when we see things pop up within the Fringe community. And so maybe a thing that pops up is somebody starts to collect emails and everyone ends up on a thread. That way, when there's those last minute tickets, you can help each other out. I'd love to see that.
That's great.
But that would be a private email situation.
Yeah, that would be, Fringe couldn't necessarily share all of the
Yeah. No, I get it.
But use our Facebook group. That's another option too. When you have those last minute openings, use the Fringe Facebook group, and there's a lot of people on there as well.
Okay, now hashtag HFF23. That's one of them, but there's also.
Okay, so that's going to be the Fringe official. That's like the Fringe one. But as far as like, there's a lot of LA theater with ER is a big one. LA, oh gosh, am I going to get this right? THR, what is the other one? Does anyone know it? I should know it better. I run the Hollywood Fringe Instagram.
LA Theater ER?
Yeah. Oh no, sorry, RE, LA Theater RE. But honestly, both are gonna pop up.
LA Theater spelled TRE.com.
Yeah.
The other one?
And then there's one that's I think it's LATHR. And if anyone knows different, feel free to chime in, but I'm pretty sure it's LATHR, like a shortened LA Theater.
.com?
Or these are just hashtags.
Oh, these are hashtags. That's right. That's what I asked. I'm with you.
I love it. Anyone else?
Now, Lois, one other thing that is not specifically about this, but you said about posters for Fringe Central. You said 11 by 17 is the right size, or?
It's a great size, and we don't have any specific rules. We just, I mean, like, be conscientious of, like, you know, the fact that you're one of many. Like if somebody were to bring us a full wall poster, like, it, you know, let's not do that. But like, as long as it's a normal size poster or smaller, we're going to be able to accommodate that.
So regular paper, not mounted.
I would highly recommend like actual like poster paper with some sort of a gloss or a matte, because these are going to be outdoors. Just full disclosure, our Fringe Central space is outdoors, and we do not control the weather. So I think making sure your poster has some sort of durability is going to be important, but it doesn't have to be super fancy. Just, you know, like enough of a high quality where a little bit of wind is not going to tear it to shreds.
Okay, so they will be mounted on like a bulletin board or something like that, as opposed to standing up.
Correct. They're going to be on a wall to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
Of course, of course. I see some hands up. I'm just going to start to the left and move my way right. Ty, do you have a question?
Yeah, hi Lois. I'm glad you're not a robot anymore from last night.
At last night's event, just to explain, my sound wasn't working, so everything was robotic, so I had to just be silent for the event, and that was fun for everyone.
Oh, good. So I have two quick questions. One is about pay what you can tickets, and apologies if you already mentioned that. But when we go in into to like the discount code section and make a pay what you can ticket, do we have to actually assign a price to that, or simply just click the box that says make project, pay what you can?
It's just make project, pay what you can. You can give a suggested price.
Sure,
but
yeah.
that's totally up to you. Yeah, but it can just be a straightforward pay what you can, which more often than not is what the discount comps are doing. Yeah.
Right. Got it. Cool.
You have to, with that, I just want to make sure so everyone knows you have to be prepared for people to not follow your suggestion. It's always such a bummer when people are disappointed, but you're giving them the option to pay what they can. And sometimes that means nothing. So just knowing that you're prepared for that.
Yeah, got it. Cool. Good to know. And then in addition to 11 by 17 poster, or in addition to that poster for Fringe Central, what about postcards? Can we leave any there?
Absolutely. Yeah, we love it. You can either bring them to office hours if you'd like, because we do have some events early on. Like if it's tomorrow office hours, we can bring those to our May 5th event and make sure they're on display during our Fringe preview cabaret.
Right.
But anytime after that, starting in previews, Fringe Central will be open for the first time in Fringe history during previews. So during previews, we can come by, drop off your postcards, drop off your poster, grab a drink, hang out, and then
Nice.
you can drop them off at any time though. Fringe Central will be open Monday through Friday.
Got it. Cool.
So
Awesome.
Friday through Sunday. Y'all, it's been a
Right.
long night edits.
Yep.
Friday through Sunday.
Awesome. Thank you.
Of course. And Mariella, please correct me if I'm saying your name wrong.
Perfect. You said it great. Hi. Oh my God, thank you for all the amazing information you have shared with us. I'm just trying to absorb it all. And following the question I just asked, how many postcard do you recommend us to drop to your office?
Oh, normally, so about 50 is a good number, between 35 and 50.
Okay, great.
Yeah. And then it's also, so remember, like Fringe Central, it's all of our office, really. It's our like Fringe home during the month of June. So it's always good to not drop off too many, and then just come by and check in on how they're doing. You know, we'll have postcard holders, like we have 3 giant postcard holders that sit in the space. And then so you can, go and refill them throughout. That way you also don't run out as you're walking around town promoting.
That makes sense. All right, great. And then I also have another question, and it's regarding the press release. I've heard not only now, but also in the previous meeting we had a little bit about the press release, but I'm not clear. Is it somebody who is going to write a press release? Should we write a press release and put it up? Can you explain me the process, how to connect it, how to give it a boost? Maybe we help a reporter. Can you please walk me through so that I can begin to do my diligence?
Absolutely. Yeah. So this depends, and it's up to you. You can either hire someone. So there's no one at Fringe that's going to write it for you necessarily, or even like like we don't have any press or publicity people in our participant packet, but like if you come to office hours, I know that there are multiple who exist in the community who are actively working with other fringe shows and have room to add in more. So you have the option of you can pay someone to do your publicity and they'll usually write your press release for you. Or a lot of fringe shows, in fact, the majority, just to kind of put everyone's expectations, you know, where they should be, the majority of people would run their own press at Fringe. So that would mean you write your press release and you're kind of managing your contacts and reaching out to them to try to get them to see your show. But with that press release, it's going to be basically, why should they come see your show? It's a headliner, right? It's, you know, this show is happening at the Hollywood Fringe Festival. Here's a little bit about it. And maybe here's a little bit, like you're feeding them a story, essentially.
Right.
You're feeding them a reason to come. But I highly recommend, if you're new to press, y'all, our participant packet has so many resources. We really try to like kind of break it down A, B, C, D, as if you've never seen a press release before, the Fringe participant packet is going to help you start to navigate that world. And there's also a list of outlets that we recommend that we know cover, like Black Box Independent Theater. So it would still be a cold reach out, but it would at least be a cold reach out to someone you know could potentially come see your show.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm super happy to write it, but I'm still a little bit confused. Thank you for the information. I'm still a little bit confused. Is that something that lives within your platform, or is it something that I actually has to put out that will be ideal for me to put out in some media? Because I was thinking of doing that anyway. So what are your recommendations around that? So when you say write a press release, I can write this piece. How long shall it be? Then where do I send it? Where do I put it? Where do I post it? How do I let the Fringe website know, hey, I have this? Do I link it? Do I put it to my website? Do I add some backlinks? What should I do?
Yeah, okay, give me 1 second. I'll actually show you. So there's kind of gold there, but I will show you exactly what I mean. That's why these are helpful. Like I know we're artists, right? So the majority of us are going to be visual learners, and it's helpful to kind of see all of the things that we're talking about. So I'm going to go into, okay, so now I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so from my project page, we're going to go to admin, right? This is the tab that we're going to be spending a lot of time in. And then press.
All right.
And then so you're going to add your press release here. This is important. So this is where it comes twofold. So adding your press release here is going to be mostly for the press that we are bringing on. So, you know, Carly, who is here, is our amazing communications director, and she's the gal who she sends out our press releases. You know, we just sent one out on May 1st saying tickets on sale for hundreds of shows, thousands of performances, to start to entice press into coming into the festival. And then additionally, we send out an invite. We invite them to become Hollywood Fringe official press, which means they get registered on the website. We end up, you know, we're working with them directly. And then from there, they go and look at shows that they're interested in seeing. And they will come to this tab to look at your press release to decide whether or not to come see your show.
Yeah. It finally clicked now. So it's for the press that are actually associating themselves with, okay, that's what I needed to know. I was not clear what, okay, good. I got it.
Yeah. And then, but you're going to have it somewhere else too, right? Because like if you're going to send out, because like on our, so and marketing and press and ticketing, I believe is the article on Supportal. All of this is linked in the participant packet. So if you just go to hollywoodfringe.org/participant, all of these articles and resources are going to be in there. But from there, like we don't share press emails, but we'll share that list of like places that we think are good to reach out to. And so just start to Google them, you know, late at night, you don't have anything really to do, start to Google press people and just start to build your list that you send a BCC out to, or you send a personal email, you know, using first names, trying to make sure like you're just getting in with press, and then you'll send your press release directly if you are reaching out to people in that way. And hint in the body of the email, press notably in general, if you want someone to do something for you, like go see your show, give them as little tasks as possible. The easier you make it for them, the more likely they are to finish the task you are requesting. So put that press release in the body of the email, and then, you know, include some photos if you want in addition, but try to give them all of the information in one click.
So these people that are in the press, are they accessible through the platform, correct? So I can just reach out to anybody within the platform and invite them?
So the press is a little bit less. So industry will be very public. We will make sure that you know exactly who's on industry. Press is a little less public until they've reached out.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. And hold on, I have another question, but it went to the back of my head. Let me try to fish for it. Boom, boom, I forgot. So I'm gonna let somebody speak onto my.
And remember, after today too, y'all support at hollywoodfringe.org. Your new best fringe pal. That's the person, like that's where staff is. So we'll answer questions. I mean, throughout the entire process, we're going to be there for you. So it's okay to not know everything in one day too, because there'll be more questions.
Now I remembered.
So
it was about, you mentioned earlier today a little bit about adding reels to our profile. So is it possible to add like a little video about the show, like a little blurb talking to make it more in a visual way? Okay. And that can be like in the main page. I know I have an image for my project, but where do I add a video? I am not aware of that.
And this is, I think it's vital, especially we live in a day and age of Netflix. And people are like, they need kind of a hint, right? So right here. So when you go to your details tab, right, and no one else sees this. You only see this on your page because you're logged in. So regular audience isn't seeing this, but that's where you add pictures, add videos. I will.
Okay, see it.
Do you see the add video screen or add video button?
Yes.
Yeah, so right there. With YouTube, make sure add direct, like full URLs. That's the one thing with the videos, it can get a little temperamental. So don't, you know how things will give you a short link or a share link. Avoid share links on the website and use full URLs. So, you know, if my full URL is going to be what's at the top here.
Great.
So drop that link to like your YouTube or your Vimeo, things like that.
Thank you. That was very helpful.
Yeah, I'm happy to help. And Mandy, you had a question?
Yes, Mariella kind of answered a lot of my question. I think you kind of answered it. But my question is in terms of press, like just to clarify, like we don't just have to like sit there and be like, oh, I hope press comes. Like we can like be reaching out to people and like that's how we get them to come, right?
Yes, please do.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Like this is a choose your own adventure world, right? Fringe, just like regular producing. You're gonna get what you put in. So yes, I mean, and it's that like, don't hound them. Don't be the person that they remember and never want to go see your show because like, oh my God, they didn't let me breathe. But definitely reach out. Like the Fringe can only do so much. So make sure you are actively making sure that your show is represented as well. So send those emails. And it's a great thing too. The next time you produce a show, you'll have a press list. Now you have people, you don't have to fight through like getting all of these emails because you already have a solid start. And then that's your list. Now, every time you do a show, you email your press list.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. And sorry, I'm on my work Zoom too. I just realized. But my other question is, I feel like I'm like behind on all of the like social parts of it. What is Fringe Central? What do I do?
Fringe Central is a pop-up space. We run a pop-up bar, which is 1 month out of the year. We are bar owners, but we at 905 Cole, it's a beautiful venue where our scholarship shows are being housed this year as well, but we're partnering with them and turning their parking lot into sort of a beer garden vibe. It's going to be a full bar concierge service. So it's great to like to send your audiences who want to like, maybe they loved your show and they're like, what else can I do at Fringe? Send them over to concierge and we'll be able to kind of walk them through how to participate and things like that. But it's a great place for audiences and artists to mingle too. Kind of that's where we set it up to begin with. It's a place for artists to kind of have a home base because you're going to be busy. You're going to be running from show to show and just need a place to chill with your fellow Fringers. So it's that, but it's also a place where the artist and audience experience is a little cozier. You know, this isn't going to see a show at the Pantages and you having no direct contact with the art that's being made. At Fringe Central, there's going to be audiences and artists commingling and really sharing in the celebration of theater beyond just the performance clap, it's over.
Okay, great. And that opens in June, like after the previews?
During the previews. So June 2nd, I believe is the first Friday will be open. So yeah, it's Friday through Sunday, previews all the way up until the 24th.
Okay, awesome. I'm like looking at my notes. I'm like, I think I'm good. Okay, thank you.
And we'll send out reminders too. As long as your show is registered, you're getting participant emails. We won't let you forget.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
Of course. Nicole, you are up next. Oh, let me get you unmuted here.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, so thank you so much, Lois, first of all. I really appreciate you creating a warm and inclusive environment, and these events are always fantastic. So, and it's good to hear your voice tonight. So I have some quick questions that are just very like mechanical type things that I think we should be able to get through pretty quickly. The one, and it's just a basic thing, I could probably do trial and error, but just for my mind, so I feel like I've got it covered. The discount codes, they have to be 4 digits, or like, are they any number of digits?
Any number, yeah. I mean, it might run out. Don't quote me on that. There might be a point where it's like, no, you can't have a 75 letter like it, but they can be any length.
So we just want to kind of invent a discount code that sort of correlates a little bit with the community that we're addressing with that code.
Yeah, or your show.
Okay.
Yeah, it's totally up to you. It can be the community you're trying to reach, or show content that you're trying to get out there.
And does that show up on the project page, or it's just you need to communicate with the groups directly to tell them about these discount codes?
Okay, let's do this just to give a visual, because so levels will be public. That's anyone, doesn't matter who you are, can view those ticket prices. The discount codes, only you will view. So it's not like there's going to be hints or like, coupons that like come up when people are purchasing. But if I create a discount code that is HFF23, and you don't have to use a hashtag, that's a confusing element. So it's just HFF23 is my discount code. And I'm going to make that pay what you can.
And here, Lois, do you mind me asking, where would you put suggested price? You don't get to say the word suggested. You would just put the price. Okay.
Yes. But yeah, here, and actually, no, I'm sorry, I misspoke. With discount codes are different than with your actual price. Like when you're setting a ticket price, you can do a suggested pay what you can. With discount codes, it's one or the other.
Oh,
but that's different. So but ticket prices, you can do absolutely.
Here. So on levels, you could do the suggest, and you don't say, I keep thinking suggested needs to be in there, but that is, you just put you make it a price level. You make it pay what you can, and you just put in, if you want the suggested price to be 15, it's 15, but you don't get to put in the word suggested, correct?
It'll pop up on the when the audience is looking, it will let them know that is what you want. Yeah, but it won't like use the verbiage necessarily.
Okay, but they'll get it. Okay.
Totally. So okay, I'm gonna make it for all of my performances. And so now ticket price can't be, okay, yeah. I was incorrect. I was right the first time. That does show up as.
So you can put, okay.
Yeah.
So shows, and when that little 10 means suggested price.
Yeah. It's a fun life I live, y'all, where I've been working with Fringe for 13 years now. And as the website changes, my memory does. So I've been around for so many iterations of the website that it all starts to blend at a certain point. But now if you go to tickets, I can buy a ticket. And it's free. So this is going to be kind of, it's not going to work. It's a free ticket, but it'll give you.
Yeah.
So that's how that works.
Okay.
Okay, I had some additional quick questions, but I know it's almost 8 o'clock, so I don't know. I
can hang tight for a few extra minutes. Is there anyone who has to go right now who has a question? All right, bring it on.
Okay, I think these should be pretty quick.
Yeah.
Pretty quick. How many posters and postcards would you suggest that we print total?
It's such a tough one, and I'll be honest, it's one that I hate. I never feel comfortable answering, since I have not, full disclosure, not produced a Hollywood Fringe show. I have produced Hollywood Fringe for a number of years, but I have not played a role in a show. I would ask your fellow participants, like come to office hours, to like ask on the Facebook groups, things like that, because the number does change every year, and I think they're going to give you better, more surefire advice than I should.
Okay, thank you. And then the press release, you think we should have that posted by what date?
I mean, the sooner the better, but if you like, I think getting it out, like you should be in the process of thinking about it. So right now, start to work on that press release, start to build your contact list. And that way, in a week or two, I would say 2 weeks, you're going to want to have that out there. Yeah.
And one final question. I actually have some cast members who are going to be starting out the performance sitting in the audience. So I need to reserve some seats for them. So how do I do that? Or is that like a complicated thing that I should just,
No. This is actually, no, this is one of those things. And that's why having these sessions is a little easier. Because it is
That was my question. I'm glad you asked it.
So if you go to performances, we're going to edit. And number of tickets on sale. The key here is we try to make it foolproof. So the venue sets the max capacity and you cannot make that higher. The venue is the only one who can change, it can give more tickets to a performance, but you can make it less. So if I have 1,000 people, I can make it anything under 1,000. It can be, you know, and that's changed. Yeah.
So it's the performance tab
Mhm.
and then edit.
Yeah. And then
Sorry. And then number of tickets on sale.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. And so that's great too. Yeah. Like, so Rebecca, if you want to hold off on, you know, selling 3 tickets, that would be a great place to make sure
I
that you're
think
not.
I did that. I don't, yeah, I'm going to check after we get out of here.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Of course. All right, Rebecca, do you have another question or is your hand?
My question is this. Because I'm with the Hudson and I have to set up tickets with them, how do I ask those folks and how do I ask fringers or anybody to write reviews? How do you do that on this site?
So with the ones that people that purchased on the website, that's where you have access to those. I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know. I know that Hudson uses I think it's 411 tickets, but I'm not familiar with that platform or how they operate. So with Fringe, you can either, you can tell them in person, right? That's always a surefire. Like, hey, leave a review. You can also message them. You can do on the will call list. Let's just show that up again.
Right, but I feel like I'm an idiot to ask this question, but what link did I give them to write a review? Is there a link?
Your project page. The project page will have the review option there. And in addition, remember too, for Fringe, anyone who purchased a ticket or is comped a ticket on the Fringe website, if they have a ticket to your show via Fringe, we also send out an email on your behalf saying, did you enjoy the show? Make sure to leave them a review, and we give a direct link to make that process a little bit easier.
No, that's why I like your site better than theirs. Thank you.
Of course. Okay. Carol Francis, were you next? Did you have a question or was your hand still up from before?
No, I did have a question. I didn't know if you said my name or not. A friend of mine said she went to my project page and it was designated pay what you can at the top, but there wasn't any place for her to buy a ticket at a pay what you can price.
Was it, my best guess is that was, okay, did you click a button or did you change? Let me look. All right, I'm gonna log into mine really quick, y'all, so I can
Yeah. I want to see how that works.
Yeah, if you don't mind, Carol Francis, I'm gonna make sure there's no other questions that are more general, but I'll stay on with you and we'll solve this. So
Thank
you. Don't
you.
have to worry about it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Was there any other general questions, y'all?
I have one, and it was kind of an extension of Nicole's question about how to reserve a ticket, and you answered making it less. Question is that the same method we will use to reserve the tickets we need to stamp when we have a scholarship to the Fringe?
Oh, yeah. So you're going to want to, and we'll send out instructions for the scholarship program. We'll send out how to do that, like to reserve 2 tickets, I believe is how that, I can't remember what is in the contract this year. But it'll be through a comp. So it'll be like HFF staff, but we'll send you instructions on exactly how to do that to make that super easy for you.
Okay, great. And are those the tickets per show or throughout the entire season?
I I might, because this is another thing that changes every year, and that's more of Kevin's department. But I believe it's whatever number it is, that's the total number. And then he'll send out a request for certain days coming up.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I have one quick question. I set discount codes, and I know one worked, but one didn't. So, I mean, this doesn't sound like a general question, but I'm wondering if I forgot to do select all or something, and I can double check. But I know one worked, but then one tried to buy and one didn't. So, I just want
Sensitive? Are they case sensitive, the discount codes?
They are not, but it is like user error. I was gonna say like 50% of the time it's user error. And like, but you can also double check that they are for all performances. I think that would be a good double check step. Because remember, always look, your discount codes don't go away. So if you click discount codes, you will see all of the ones you've already entered. So you can kind of go through and double check.
Right. Well, and also I'm looking at it right now, and it looks like I have the edit button for 4 of them, but the delete button for 3 of them. And the one that doesn't have the delete button is the one that works. So anyway, I wrote support about it. So sorry. Anyway,
no sorry. I was saying, we can do the same. We can go into your account.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
Okay.
It's technology. Sometimes, as hard as we try, y'all, it will fail us occasionally. So it's good. And if we know it's an issue, then we can solve that a lot quicker. Awesome. Any other questions before I start to dive into more personal account questions? Oh, did you have a question, Nicole, or was it?
I just had to unmute. So just another quick question that I forgot. The runway, that's something I assume that you have to register for. And then when is that registration going to happen, and when does the event happen?
Yeah, the event won't be until June 3rd, and we open up those applications on May 6th. So on May 6th, we're going to send out an email with all of the details on how to get involved with Fringe Runway, Cabaret, and drink sponsorship. So all of like the Fringe Run marketing opportunities, those all go out on May 6th.
Got it. Thank you.
Do you happen to know how much the runway is?
A runway is free.
A runway is free.
Runway and Cabaret are both free. Drink sponsorships is the only one that's not free. That's $100, and that's it costs us money to produce, so we have to add a little in there. There's a lot of marketing too on like digital and things like that. Yes.
Yeah. What's the difference between? I heard about Cabaret, but what is Runway as opposed to?
Yeah, so Runway is our our showcase for costume designers, specifically for shows. If you have an elaborate costume or something that's very creative or inventive, we have a 2-hour event or an hour and a half. Maybe it's 2.5 hours this year, where it's just a quick run down the runway, where the actors in your show will wear their costumes and strut their stuff at Fringe Central, and then there's prizes at the end for like the top 3 costumes. It's just a fun little celebration, a great way to really like honor, I think, a portion of the creative process that likely gets forgotten about, especially with, the actors get to be on stage and grab the glory, but the costume designer doesn't always get their moment to shine. So this is for them.
Got it. So it's the fashion show.
Yeah, exactly.
Runway. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a Che shirt for mine. Do I do it? The runway with my Che t-shirt and my regular pants. Never mind.
Carol Francis, and I would love to see Carol Francis do the runway.
Yes, everyone should apply. It's done by lottery, so know that we're not picking and choosing who, because there's more participants and we simply have room. We can't have a 7-hour runway. No one would want that. So it's done by lottery. So we just ask that, think about your costume, and if yours is jeans and a t-shirt, maybe Cabaret would be a better choice, only because we only have so many slots. Yeah, but it is all lottery, so we don't curate that in any way.
Yeah, okay. I don't have a costume.
Yes. Mariella, did you have another question, or was the hand still up from before?
Oh, no, my hands, I didn't do to take my hands down.
Okay, then in that case, I will stay on for any specific website glitch questions, just to make sure everyone's in working order. But thank you all for joining me on this Tuesday.
Lois, you're amazing. I cannot.
Yes, you're awesome. Thank you.
Y'all are. It's my pleasure to spend an evening with you.
Why wasn't this place packed? My God, this was so important. You're a doll.
Write a review. And I'll use it to market it next year. Please do. That would be a great thing.
Under the event. A good point.
Thank
Thank
y'all.
you so much. Have a
And
good-
Lois, you're always so
Thank you.
to people who don't get it the 10th time you said it.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Of course, I don't like y'all. Technology is not my strong suit. I'm a musical theater and dance major. Technology with Fringe is my intro. I never touched the stuff until Fringe, so I have full empathy and support for what it's like to try to learn it for the first time.
You're very good at it.